Please remember that all the opinions in the show are those of the host and should only be taken as food for thought. We're in no way telling you to do anything. Everything is kept anonymous for the safety of the listeners and no information is shared to anyone else. If you are easily offended by people's opinions or views, then thank you for making it this far, but this is not the podcast for you, so see you later. And please enjoy the rest of the show. Hey, boys. So glad you see my issue as a genuine one and not just an overreaction. This is the guy that was on the football team.
Oh, yeah.
That was gay.
Yeah. So I got an unrelated issue. I've been climbing the ladder at work and I've reached a point where the work-life balance is almost non-existent. I enjoy the extra cash and it's helping me save from a new place, but I'm also really burnt out. Do you guys suggest for me to take a step back before I totally lose the plot or try to keep up appearances for the time being? It's hard climbing that ladder now, man. You got fucking...
It is. Taking on more responsibility is always more difficult. I would see it as a temporary situation if I was you. Like, if you're saving for a new place, see that as like your goal. That's your end goal for it. And you don't have to sit like past that point. You can think about, oh, I can step down or I can move jobs or whatever. But if it's giving you that extra money, that extra bump now, then just set it as a temporary precedent. And then it might not seem so daunting then that you've got like this forever, like this extra workload forever. But sometimes saving's difficult. And if it helps you get there quicker, then it might be worth it. But if it is really affecting your mental health, no job's worth your mental health. So you have to weigh it up.
I don't think stepping back's an option. If you've done all that work to get there. But I think like if you've got to a certain point, just don't try and get any higher at the meantime. Because like once you're like trying to climb, you're piling on more and more work. But if you like get to like this level now,
kind of plateau,
and you just stay there. You stay there for a bit. All the work, sort of levels itself out. You get used to it. You get into a routine, and then you can start implementing stuff outside of work. But if you're like, give me more responsibility, give me more, I want to move, and you're like asking for all these things, then people are just going to give it to you. So I would just sort of like, not like disappear, but just maintain this sort of level until I've got to that point where it's comfortable.
And also have a look at the way you're managing like your workload, because you might be overdoing it in comparison to people in the same role as you, because you're used to trying to climb, so you're used to trying to better other people. Or if you find yourself doing a lot more than someone on the same level as you, then maybe you can calm it down a little bit just to bring yourself back in line. And then you might enjoy it a bit more. Enjoy being at that level at least until you've then saved up, and then you can make a decision then.
You must be, if you're climbing the ladder, you must have some sort of team, or because when I was going up in like management, I didn't get very far because I got sick of it. But like, I always struggle with like passing work onto other people.
Yeah.
What's that
called?
Delegation. That's it. So like, I would be like, I need to get this done, and there's like 3 people there like standing around the tills doing nothing. Yeah. But it's easier for me to just go off and fucking do it than having to like chase them or explain to them or like make sure they're doing it properly. Yeah. So I would just, and I've had a couple little mini nervous breakdowns because I was just trying to take everything on myself. So that's another thing as well. Like, look at your workload, and there must be, because once you get higher up, you've always got a team or
someone that you can delegate
stuff
to
like
normally.
That. Yeah. And that's, I think a lot of people struggle with when they move up, having that confidence to be like, I need you to do this, and then just letting them fuck off and
especially
do it.
If it's a team that you worked within before, that you were made up from.
Yeah, because you're like mates and stuff like that.
Yeah, you don't want to tell them what to do.
Yeah, but they should understand that you're the boss.
They should, but they don't always.
Yeah. I just find it easy to just say yes. I don't give a fuck who's telling me. You know? I'm like, yeah, whatever. The way I look at it is like, if you're telling me to do something, that means I don't have to fucking think about what I need to do. So I'll just go do it. You know,
I always found it easy to delegate, but I did have a problem with who I would delegate to. So there would always be people that I trusted to a certain extent, and then there would be people that I knew. Like I always was quite blunt about it, that are fucking drips. Do you know what I mean? And like they'd be the type of people that you don't give anything to because you know it just won't get done, or they haven't got the capability of doing it. So once you've weeded them people out and figured out the people you can trust to do jobs, then the delegating can be quite easy. But you just need to, it does take a little while to figure out who's who in your team, especially if you're in a new team. That takes a while.
Yeah. But I mean, don't lose the progress you've already made. That would just be because that shows to your company as well. Like if you get to a certain point, then you're like, oh, I want to step back. They're like, well, what? And then when you want to step forward again, you just fucking like no.
Yeah, that could burn a bridge. I think. Unless it's really affecting you, do all you can to stay in that position but just find ways to make it easier for you. And then once you've done that saving, then your life opens up a little bit. You don't have to worry about it as much. At the minute,
and then you have the experience.
You need that money.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I said, you're just asking for more work, and they're just piling it on, and that's what seems so like it's coming from everywhere. So you just got like I think like when people move up, they think that it's like not necessarily easier, more like straightforward, where it's like you've just got everything coming from every angle.
especially middle management, it becomes you're getting the pressure from above and the pressure from the guys you were working with. So you're like almost sandwiched in that. And if you're in a place that you've worked up through, that's harder. If you're new to that place, it's easier because you can be an arsehole if you need to be. But if you already know these people have pre-existing relationships, it's much harder to be black and white with people. Do you know what I mean?
When I went to Bright House, I got on with the area manager, but he kept coming in and he was like, "Oh, when I come in, I want to be able to see who the management is."
Yeah.
Which is another thing where I said about I always struggle with delegation because I would just do it myself.
Yeah.
So he was like, I want to see like you have the staff that deal with the customers, and you should be dealing with everything else. Like so, you should look like your management. And I just can't. Even to this day, I still can't figure out how I would even because I'm just that sort of person. That's why I always call myself a grunt because I much rather do the job than stand there and tell someone else to do the job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm a worker, hands-on sort of person.
A lot of people like that. I've
never been very good at it.
You'll be surprised the amount of people in this world that are like that. That rather just get the instruction and do it rather than having to deal with the bureaucrat bullshit that you deal with in management.
Yeah. No, I don't think I'd ever go back. Like,
if it's possible, I would never go back to retail. If I have to, I will. But retail I don't mind going back to management, but retail was a fucking killer. Dealing with fucking idiot people was another level.
But this person's probably not in retail. That's just our own experience. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with Jamie's about like look at it towards a goal, right? Like you could say this is how much money you need, and when you get to that point, then sort of evaluate because then that need's gone. Like you've achieved it, so now you can look at somewhere else or take that experience with you, and whatever. And good luck. It's like everyone struggles with a work-life balance, right? Like we've discussed it before, where companies basically are bred off people working for free.
They always understaff and try to work people off hours, either overtime hours or unpaid hours. They always it's actually how they're structured to do that.
Yeah, my brother was moaning about. We went out for his birthday meal Saturday, and he's like worked his way up to being a trainer in McDonald's. Like he can train people on any part of it. And he was like, "Oh, my dickhead manager still hasn't paid me properly because he doesn't want to increase his pay." Yeah. So I mean, like even like McDonald's, like every company does it, just trying to save money by not paying you properly or paying you for.
Yeah, there'll be some kind of way they can get around it. They will.
Yeah. So I can't remember what's going with that, but I know you can do it. You'll be all right. Keep your head up.